Hey guys, congratulations. I'm happy that you guys took the extra time to invest in yourself. And I want to make this clear. I am aware that Airbnb is on a decline right now, and I'm aware that rental rates are on an incline. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it 100%. But I did want to tell you that the way I look at Airbnb is not like a traditional rental. The way I look at Airbnb, because it's not a traditional rental, the way I look at it is kind of how Ray Kroc looks at a McDonald's. It's a way to capture property and make income. Okay, it's all about controlling property. It's not necessarily just about cash flow, and it's not necessarily just about owning property. It's both. So let me go into this. I can show you here. So you see here, this is my first ever Airbnb I did. Um, it's about 3, 4 years ago, and this is the actual property. I'm not gonna hide the address from you. It was an attic. Okay, this is the property. That's not the only thing in this property, but this was the attic that I did. Okay, and the attic was rented when I bought it. It had a renter in there for $450 a month. It's literally a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom with no living room. It just has a dining room and a kitchen and no living room, and the rooms are tiny and the ceiling is tiny. I literally named it the Hobbit house because it's got small roofs. And it was making 450 a month gross. The mortgage percentage of that unit that I attributed to it was about 350 a month. The utilities, because it was sharing utilities, was about $200 a month. Expenses for repairs and the sinks leaking, the heater, blah blah blah, was about $50 a month. And I was at a negative $150 a month in cash flow. Now, if you look at the Airbnb, when I first started, it was crazy. The rates were crazy. I was making $17.50 a month. The mortgage payment was the same, didn't change. The utilities were more because I had to add internet. Actually, right now I share internet with the bottom, so the bottom I turned into an office space, and now I don't even have to pay it, but it's still in there. The expenses, it's a little more in repairs. When you have a Airbnb, you got furniture, you've got to repair some things, stuff like that. You got to constantly put in toilet paper, paper towels and such. And then this is the cash flow here. Okay, $990. Now, before I get into some of the stuff, I'm gonna do the next one. Now, I know in 2022, like I've been saying, I know the prices have dropped. Look at that, huge drop. Okay, but look at, you still take out the same numbers, and I'm making $590 in actual income. Now, a couple things here. Do you see a rent loss? Do you see a vacancy ratio? Do you see a turnover of expenses of repairs, right? When you have to repaint the whole unit, you got to change the floor, you got to change the carpet, you got to change the tile, you got to epoxy the tub. Yeah, I've been doing rentals for 16 years now, and this is like, yeah, sure, this is gonna happen. Because you have at least a 5 or 6% vacancy ratio, and then that doesn't even include rent loss. Like if they're stuck in there, they're not trying to get out, and you got to evict them, right? And you got to go pay for eviction process. All that right here. Over here, look at that, 500. Let's give this rental the benefit of the doubt. Let's say it cash flows $50 a month. $50 a month. How many times 50 would it need to get into here? If you took this number and you divided it by 50, what would that number be? It would be like 11 and a half, right? So like 11.5, right? So you would need 11 and a half of these properties to equal what this one is doing in a down market. In a down market. I know everybody's talking about the end of Airbnb. It's BS. Let me show you the next one. So Memphis is like a detached duplex. Similar property. It's a C-class property. It's a little property in central El Paso. It was renting for it would rent because neither one of them they needed some it needed some repairs. So, but the repairs were needed to be done even if I was going to rent it or not. It was pretty much dog food. Like the place was just rough. But let's just say that after fixing it would rent for like 800 and 450 for the back. The back is a studio. The front is a 2 bedroom. Okay. Now El Paso has low rent rates, right? So that's 1250. You take 1250 and you minus these three numbers out of here, and you get $75 a month. Okay, this is positive cash flow. It doesn't have rent loss. It doesn't have vacancy ratios. It doesn't have a lot of these things. It doesn't have a turnover expense. There's a little bit more repairs in there because it's 2 properties. Now you do the same thing over here. This number's 3,100. So 3,100 minus these three numbers here, right? And you get 1,625. That's how much I was making when it first came out. Now it's gone down. It's gone down here, and I could go through every one of my properties. I could show you these numbers. This is the same with all of them. 750. So you have here, what's that? 2750 minus these three numbers, which is the mortgage, the utilities, the expenses, and you get 1225. And you don't have to evict anybody, and you don't have to go to the justice of the peace. You don't have to do any of those things. All you have to do is just Airbnb it. Now, I know there's a lot to being said about doing Airbnb, but how much would you do? Like I gotta grab my phone so I can do this math. I can't do that in my head. Let's just say 1225 divided by $75. That's 16 times. I would need 16 duplexes, detached duplexes, to equal this amount of income. 16. I remember when I first started in the business, and I had this idea of you get 10 properties, you cash flow them, and then you're out of the rat race. Yeah, it's a big lie. It's a big lie. It's not true. When I actually did the numbers, when I was finally cash flowing on some of my properties, I was going to need 500 properties to get out of the rat race to make my $12,000. 500 properties. And think about all the debt, think about all the management, think about all the risk, the liability that comes with that. You can get down here and it's probably around 75 properties. And we're talking in El Paso with low income. If you're in a different place that have, you could adjust these numbers based on income rate, right? But it's the same across the board. It's the same across the board. Now, most people that are crying bloody murder right now that the market is gonna go under, they're crying bloody murder because they just got in with these numbers, okay? And they bought based on these numbers. But me and you that have rental property that are happy over here, we're like, we made $75 a year, $75 a month, and we're excited. We're like proud of ourselves. This is like, it's funny money. It's funny money over here. It really is funny money. So these guys, they bought wrong. We know that in rentals. It's called a cap rate, right? You had to buy at a good NOI. You got to buy, imagine trying to put these numbers into a cap rate. What the heck would this number look like, right? It would be insane. It would be insane. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Love you guys. God bless. Bye-bye.